here in Quaker Nation. This is Lex Zorn here up at Harrison, getting ready for tonight's big playoff opener. I'm going to be starting the broadcast in about 2 minutes here, so just sit tight, and then I'll be with you ready to rock and roll and hopefully get another Quakers win. So see you in a bit. Until then, don't you go changing. Okay, I'm going on the air in 2 minutes. $150. $140. $130. $120. $110. One minute. $50. 40. 30. 20. 15. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Blast off. Hello and welcome to A.J. Rickard Field on the campus of William Henry Harrison High School in Tippecanoe County. My name is Lex Zorn, and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Harrison Raiders in the first round of the Indiana High School football playoffs. Well, it's been almost 2 seasons in one for your Quakers, who enter this game with a record of 6-3. Coming off only the second sectional championship in program history last year and returning the bulk of their stars, but going through a head coaching change, Plainfield started off 5-0 and were ranked as high as number 4 in the state in the AP poll for Class 5A. But then they closed out the regular season by losing 3 of their last 4, leaving fans to wonder if the early season magic will return while there's still time. Back in week 1, the Quakers went down 13-0 at Terre Haute South before coming back to lead 17-13 at the half and winning 32-13. Then in their home opener against Harrison, in a rematch of last year's playoff opener, the Quakers went down 14-0 before coming back to win 15-14. Back on the road in week 3, Plainfield saved us from the usual tension, cruising to a comfortable 31-15 win, breaking a 5-game losing streak to the host Mooresville Pioneers. The Quakers then returned home for their only 2-game homestand of the regular season. In week 4, they were given a scare by recently improved Perry Meridian, but held on for a 21-20 win on a missed 30-yard field goal attempt on the Falcons' last possession. At home again in week 5, Plainfield overcame a scare against much improved Greenwood. The Quakers led only 22-20 in the third quarter and looked like they were losing their momentum when the game turned on a successful fake punt on 4th and 10 at their own 33. From there, they closed out the game with 24 unanswered points, winning 46-20, moving to 5-0 for the first time in 17 years, and moving up to number 4 in the AP poll for Class 5A. In week 6 at arch rival Decatur Central, Plainfield led 23-9 in the third quarter, but a roughing the kicker penalty on a punt kept the Hawks' possession alive and changed the momentum of the game. Decatur Central closed out with 17 unanswered points, capped off by a 49-yard field goal from Ashton Vogel for a 26-23 win, avenging a heartbreaking loss in last year's sectional championship game. The loss seemed to fire up the Quakers, who returned home the next week and were awesome in a dominating 38-3 win over Franklin, a game that was played with a running clock for almost the entire second half. That made us hopeful that this team had overcome its problems and would have smooth sailing the rest of the way. But next week, they had another setback against Whiteland. Though the Warriors had won 12 of their last 13 games against the Quakers, including the last 6 in the series, Whiteland entered the game at 3-4. But they started the game with a successful onside kick and got a second one in the third quarter. Taking 2 possessions away from Plainfield and sustaining long drives with heavy rushing, the Warriors ran 29 more offensive plays than did the Quakers, 68-39. As a result, Whiteland won 22-8. Returning home last week for Senior Day, Plainfield tried to rebuild its momentum against the Martinsville Artesians, a 4A team who entered the game at 5-3. The game was played under heavy rain for the entire first half and several minutes of the second half, especially the fourth quarter. That seems to favor Plainfield as they've relied less on their passing offense, but Martinsville was fairly successful by almost completely abandoning long passes and focusing their offense heavily on senior running back Braden Shrake. He handled the ball on 32 of the Artesians' 52 offensive plays, 30 rushes for 130 yards, and 2 receptions for 4 yards. Star quarterback A.J. Reynolds, a junior, did pass 16 times, but almost all of them were very short. For most of the game, Martinsville sustained long drives and short gains, but they initially struggled to score. On their first possession, they advanced to the Plainfield 5, but were backed up to the 8, and a field goal attempt by Charlie Rollins was wide left. On their second drive, they lost a fumble on the Plainfield 6. But the Quakers punted on their first 2 possessions, and the Artesians opened the scoring on their third possession, a 7-yard rush by Shrake with 7:17 to go in the second quarter. The snap on the extra point was mishandled, resulting in an incomplete pass, making the score 6-0. Plainfield then started to move the ball better, but lost 2 turnovers inside the Martinsville 40 on a fumble by Luke Starnes and an interception by Hunter Newell, only the second of the season for each. Then late in the third quarter, as the Quakers were lined up to punt, a bad snap resulted in the Artesians taking over at the Plainfield 6. They scored on a 1-yard rush by Reynolds, and Rollins hit the extra point, making it 13-0. Plainfield finally scored on their ensuing possession on a 3-yard rush by Starnes, his 12th touchdown of the season. The 2-point rush attempt by Elijah Flowers failed, making the score 13-6. The Quakers got 2 more possessions, but the first ended with a punt, and the second ended with an incomplete pass into the end zone on 4th and 9 at the Martinsville 36, almost the only long pass thrown by either quarterback during the game. In normal weather, Plainfield probably would have won, but Martinsville adapted better to the rain. The Quakers played nearly 2/3 of the game from behind and didn't gain enough yards on their mountain of rushes and short passes. Starnes was moderately effective with 23 rushes for 91 yards, but took a back seat to Shrake in this game. Now, after a week off, Plainfield tries to get back on track in tonight's playoff opener. Their opponent is a very familiar one, the Harrison Raiders, who in the last 14 months have become possibly the Quakers' fiercest rival. Prior to last year, Plainfield and Harrison had only played each other once in football. That was all the way back in 1992 when the Raiders beat the Quakers 35-18 in the first round of the playoffs. Harrison went on to win the Class 4A state championship that year, still the only state championship in school history in football. Then last year, the 2 teams scheduled a home-and-home series. Then head coach Brian Woodard said he did not want to play a team so far away, but he took the series out of concern that if he did not, the Quakers would not find a week 2 opponent for the 2022 season. And in a major coincidence, the 2 teams ended up in the same sectional for that season. Harrison beat Plainfield in the regular season at Harrison by a score of 22-14 in a game that went down to the last play. With the Quakers having the ball on the Raiders' 27, a Hail Mary from Hunter Newell was intercepted in the end zone with no time left. In the playoffs, Plainfield entered the fourth quarter trailing 28-21, also at Harrison. But on 4th and 18 at the Harrison 39, Newell threw a touchdown pass to Grant Irwin, and on the ensuing drive, a Harrison fumble was returned 51 yards for a touchdown by the ironically named Harrison Herbeck of Plainfield, giving the Quakers a 35-28 lead. The Raiders lost another fumble on their ensuing possession, and Plainfield ran out the clock. Finally, this year in the regular season at Plainfield, Harrison jumped off to a 14-0 lead before Plainfield came back to win 15-14. So heading into the playoffs, clearly the Raiders want to beat the Quakers in the worst way. Now, Harrison opened the season by acting like they wanted to slay the demon of last year's devastating playoff loss, destroying cross-county rival West Lafayette 42-6. The next week was the Raiders' aforementioned 15-14 loss at Plainfield, but they haven't lost since. They closed out the regular season with 7 consecutive wins, all by at least 17 points. 35-7 over Marion, 30-13 over Lafayette McCutcheon, 52-7 over Anderson, 32-13 over Lafayette Jeff, 38-6 over Arsenal Tech, 43-7 over Logan Sport, and 42-6 over Richmond. Keep in mind, however, that they played a much weaker schedule than has Plainfield, and last year they headed into this game also at 8-1 and also ranked number 5 in the state in Class 5A, just like now. Now, so far this season, Plainfield has rushed 269 times and passed 220 times, a ratio of 1.2 to 1. Senior Hunter Newell has been very understated and efficient all season, establishing himself as a solid Division I prospect. He's completed 127 out of 218 passes, 58.3%, for 1,289 yards, 11 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. His leading receiver is junior Jameer Bowie, who's having a breakout season with 38 receptions for 401 yards and 5 touchdowns. Close behind is senior Caden Vanderbush, bound for Eastern Michigan University. He has 26 receptions for 349 yards and 4 touchdowns, in addition to a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Senior Isaiah Miller, though sometimes lost in the shadow of Bowie and Vanderbush, has had a very good season in his own right with 36 receptions for 323 yards and 1 touchdown. On the ground, the Quakers are also led. On the ground, the Quakers are led by arguably their MVP, sophomore Luke Starnes, who has 171 rushes for 887 yards and 12 touchdowns. He's also getting solid backup help from senior Carter Ferguson, who has 24 rushes for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, and to junior Weston Wayrich with 20 rushes for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Newell has also rushed well with 43 rushes for 154 yards and 1 touchdown. Meanwhile, Harrison has rushed 265 times and passed 120 times, a ratio of 2.2 to 1. Their starting quarterback is senior Calix Dixon, who in his first season as starter might be the only quarterback in the state more efficient than Hunter Newell. He's completed 69 of 84 passes for, get this, 82.1%. He's passed for 1,184 yards, 16 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. His leading receiver by far is senior Carter Canoy with 37 receptions for 645 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's followed by senior Jackson Swathwood with 5 receptions for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns. Senior Finley Huber with 13 receptions for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Junior Carter Ferguson with 11 receptions for 194 yards and 4 touchdowns, and senior Blake Soldati with 21 receptions for 213 yards. On the ground, Harrison is led by junior Kristen Ferguson with 85 rushes for 509 yards, with 85 rushes for 589 yards and 9 touchdowns. Senior Carter Canoy, and that we will pause for the national anthem. Now, apparently, they're not yet. Oh, hold on. So anyway, on the ground, Harrison is led by junior Kristen Ferguson with 85 rushes for 589 yards and 9 touchdowns. 589 yards and 9 touchdowns. Senior Carter Canoy has 37 rushes for 287 yards and 5 touchdowns. Aforementioned quarterback Calix Dixon has 50 rushes for 239 yards and 1 touchdown. And senior Ethan Pop has 46 rushes for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. Head coach for Plainfield is Tyler Bless, who's 6-3 in his first season with the Quakers. Head coach for Harrison is Terry Peebles, who's 68-36 in his 10th season with the Raiders. He led the school to sectional championships in 2018 and 2019. Well, at this time, we'll take a short break for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening kickoff. Plainfield Harrison playoff opener coming at you live under the Friday Night Lights. Next. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous support of our sponsors, who we hope you will support. They are CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Gunnell Financial, Remax Centerstone Julia Berberich, Midwest Pizza, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design and Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Ellison Associates Remax, Chipotle, and Double D Barbecue. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Tippecanoe County, we're just a few minutes away from kickoff. We have 4:25 left on the pregame clock. Plainfield just entered the field to a nice ovation from the crowd. We've got great, we've got extremely good weather. This is by far the best weather I ever remember in my 12-year commentary career for this late in the season. This is October the 27th. Even though this is the first night of the week of the Class 5A playoffs, classes 1A to 4A began their playoffs last week, so this is the second week of the playoffs here in Indiana. And usually, I'm wearing at least a sweatshirt, if not a jacket or coat for this game for the second week of the playoffs. Tonight, I'm sitting here with my short-sleeved Plainfield golf shirt here. It just feels great. 72 degrees outside. Tomorrow it's supposed to drop quite a bit, although it'll still be 59, so it's still decent weather for this time of year. We've got a pretty good crowd here on the Harrison side of the field. Looks like we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of and now Plainfield, and now Harrison enters the field. Now Plainfield's entering the field to a nice ovation from a very enthusiastic ovation from their crowd. Looks like we got about 1,500 or so fans here in the visiting bleachers. Also, maybe a couple of hundred in the standing room. Across the field in the visiting bleachers, we have, it looks like about 200 to 250 Plainfield fans in the bleachers. Also, a few more dozen in the standing room. And it's great to see that many Quaker fans, making the long trip about 80 miles north to this game tonight. Again, Coach Brian Woodard, who began this 2-year regular season series with Harrison that just so happened to also spread into the playoffs. Last year when Coach Woodard took the rivalry, he said he did not want to take a game this far away from home, but the Quakers, if they did not take it, were in danger of not having a week 2 opponent. So, and now we're doing the coin toss here. But anyway, it's just great to see, because some of the worst attended playoff games, some of the worst attended games. This, by the way, this is my 132nd. I'm sorry. Just a second here. This is my. Okay, I thought I thought they were going to do an announcement. No, the captains are coming out for the coin toss now. But anyway, this is my 129th game as a varsity football commentator. And, some of the worst attendance I've ever seen has been for playoff games. I mean, I remember one of the worst attendances I ever saw. I remember seeing Harrison commentating Fishers at Harrison. Fishers at Hamilton Southeastern. Fishers at Hamilton Southeastern, 2 6A teams 3 miles apart. And they had under 500 people for that game. Because it was played in such frigid conditions. Or I remember when I commentated Plainfield versus Northview in the 2014 playoffs out at Northview in Brazil. We had terrible attendance. We had about 300 Northview fans, about 50 Plainfield fans. The game was already down in the 30s before kickoff, and we actually had light snow. I don't think we had any in the stadium that night, but we had light snow on the way to the game. And that game was on October 31st. So Plainfield will receive. Harrison won the toss, but will defer. So I like that. I want us to get the ball first and score. Now, keep in mind that Harrison, okay, we're doing the national anthem now. And then I'll be right back. Allie Churchy, she is a cheerleader at the National Honor Society. She will lead us as we sing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the daughter we light what so proudly we have at the twilight's flashing, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets regulate the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through Well, thank you to Harrison senior cheerleader Allie Turchi for that lovely a cappella rendition of the national anthem. You know, like I said, this is my 129th high school football game as a commentator and a varsity game. I also done plenty of freshman and JV games. And anyway, that's only one of a handful of a cappella performances that I've ever heard. Another one I remember back when I was doing the Cascade boys and girls basketball for 3 years from 2016 to 2019. I remember when Cascade had their girls basketball senior day in 2018. All 7 of their seniors performed the national anthem a cappella. So anyway, they got the clock set to 12 minutes now. This is it's set to 7:31 is your time of day now. So now Plainfield takes the field first now. Harrison taking the field. The game was delayed 30 minutes to accommodate the Plainfield fans traveling, like I said, about 80 miles from Plainfield up here to Tippecanoe County. We're just about 5 minutes south of Purdue University here. So now the tee is set. Caden Vanderbush and Jameer Bowie back deep to receive for the Quakers. We got to start fast here. We need to start off strong. And so it's a deep kick. It's taken by Bowie. No, he mishandles it. He's got to get it. He picks it up to the 5 to the 10, and he's brought down around the 10. So bad start to the game for the Plainfield Quakers. They just got to relax, shake it off, and just move the ball. Now, one thing, since Harrison's loss at Plainfield back in week 2, they've played 7 games. They won of all against weak competition, generally weak competition. They won each game by at least 17. They're not accustomed to playing from behind. So if we can get them from behind early, then, I think that will play a lot into our favor, especially since they're not a great passing team. They get a lot of short passes, but they're well over a 2-to-1 rush pass team. So now the Quakers first play from scrimmage, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Newell fakes it. He takes it up himself, and he gets about 2 or 3 yards to see the kind of spot he gets. They'll only give him credit for 1. I thought he'd get thought he'd get a better spot than that. So now the Quakers 2nd and 9 at the 10. Bowie muffed the opening kickoff, then got it back, but was brought down to the 9. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 running back. Now fakes the handoff, and that's Luke Starnes, and he gets up for about 3. So it's going to be 3rd and about 6 or so. But they only give him credit for 1. I thought he got a little more than that. So Plainfield starting off a dreaded 3rd and long. So maybe Harrison's, strategy of deferring the kickoff to the second half will work. I'd hate for us to squander that opportunity. So now 2 receivers to each side, 1 running back. Now drops back and now looks deep. He throws. He's got a man open, and it's just overthrown. Vanderbush, the intended receiver, he tried to hit him around the 25 on a slant pattern. So the Quakers will be punting from their own end zone. Not a good start to Plainfield. The pressure now cranked up on their defense as it's been for much of the last 4 games. The only exception against, the huge win against Franklin. So Harrison's one guy standing almost parallel to me, right, just about 1 step behind the 50. Calls for a fair catch. and he takes it just inside Plainfield territory at the 49. So bad first drive to Plainfield. You know, keep in mind, Plainfield, they got off that red hot 5-0 start. They've lost 3 of their last 4. I hope their confidence is not struggling. I was hoping that the week off would be good for them to help them, you know. I was hoping the week off would help them a lot. We'll see. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 running back. And now pitch back, and he's gets him around the right side, knocked out of bounds around the 4, or after a 4-yard gain. That was they give him credit for 5. I thought he was out of the 45, but they marked him at the 44. So anyway, now a handoff there to Ferguson, and he goes he's got the first down to more up to about the 30. So Kristen Ferguson, I apologize for calling him Carter Ferguson last week. I get him confused with Carter Ferguson of Plainfield. So 2 rushes, 20 yards for the Raiders. They're already inside the 30. This is not a good start. Very, very concerning start for Plainfield. So now the handoff, and he gets inside the 20, inside the 10, up to the 9. Ethan Pop. So Plainfield, very bad start so far on both ends of the ball. Not even 2.5 minutes into this game, a very concerning start. We got to get a stop here. We do not want to go down, you know, and have the kind of pressure on us that we have before. It's the guys. I just wonder if the way that they've played through the last 4 games, the 3 losses in the last 4 games, if that's really shaken their confidence. I hope not, but we'll see. So now another pitch back, takes it over to the right side, and he's this time knocked out of bounds for a short gain. Kanoy, his second carry, his first one went for 5. That's going to be for 3. So now 2nd and goal for the now. I could not tell who. There's a fake handoff there, and then Pop took it up. He got 2 yards, so it's 3rd and goal at the 4. Well, I hate to sound like a pessimist, but I mean, you know, now that's 3rd and goal at the 4. The way that Harrison's played most of this drive, and the way we played on our first drive, you know, it'll be a relief if they get out of here with just a field goal. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Dixon in shotgun, 2 running backs. 8:34 to go and counting. No score in the playoff opener. And now sweeper on the left side, and he's in for the touchdown. Ferguson. Well, there were no passes on that drive. 5 rushes for 49 yards and the touchdown. Alex Steen on the extra point. And it is good. Well, it is very concerning. Very concerning start to this game, both offensively and defensively for the Quakers, and special teams wise also. Jameer Bowie muffed the opening kickoff of the game. Then Plainfield gained 2 yards on 3 plays. Then on Harrison's drive, they gained 5 yards, 49 yards on 5 plays, all on rushes, capped off by a 4-yard touchdown rush by Kristen Ferguson. 8:25 to go in the first quarter. The good news is we still got plenty of time to come back, but we got to get something going. We cannot. We've got to do something to boost our confidence and avoid falling in early. This is not a good. Plainfield already off to a bad start on all 3 phases of the game. We got to change that right here. So 2 men back deep to receive for the Quakers again. I believe it's still Vanderbush and Bowie. And this time they squib it. Field at the 25, right up to the 30. 35 finds a hole, and he's brought to about the 36. So the Quakers this time will be starting in solid field position. Last time they started off at the 9. This time it'll be quite a bit better at the, looks like they're marking it at the 36. So 8:20 to go. The Quakers start their second possession. Wow. Very aggressive formation. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And now it's a bullet pass caught by Bowie. He picks up about 4. Not a great play, but at least, at least it was decent. We got 4. You just need 3.4 a play to keep the clock and the chains moving. So it's something to build on. We got twice as many yards on that play as we did the first possession. So let's keep going, boys. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. I believe it's Starnes in there at running back. Hands off to Starnes. He's got room on the right side up to the 45. He's got the first down just shy of midfield. All right. So Luke Starnes picking up 9 there. He only got 1 on his first carry. And the Quakers move the change for the first time. It doesn't matter if they score in 1 play or 20. Let's just score. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Starnes again. This time they're ready for him. He gets, but he does plow forward for 2 or 3. Give him credit for 3. So 2nd and 7 for the Quakers. They are inside Raider territory now. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Newell drops back, throws a short pass. It is completed to Bowie. He finds room on the left. He's got the first down and more. Knocked out of bounds around the 40. So a 9-yard pass there to Bowie. Bowie has both receptions for a total of 13 yards. 1st and 10 for the Quakers at the Harrison 42 receivers now to each side. Starnes, the running back. Newell in shotgun takes it. Drops back. Screen pass to Vanderbush. He's got room on the left side, and he's knocked out after a gain of about 5. So now all of a sudden 3 consecutive completions by Newell, who hopefully is not playing his final high school game. Complete, and they give him credit for 6. Better sweat than I thought. So Vanderbush with 6 yards, hopefully also not playing his final high school game. 2nd and 4th to 34. 1 receiver to each side. Starnes, the running back. The snap. Starnes gets it, and he's looks around, doesn't have anywhere to go, and he's brought down around the line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 4 now. .6:32 to go, nearly halfway through this first quarter. Your score: Harrison 7, Plainfield 0 here in the playoff opener. The Quakers went three and out on their first possession. Harrison scored on a 5-play, 49-yard drive on their first possession, all on rushes. So now another 5 receiver formation, 3 to the right, 2 to the left. This is sometimes good for long quarterback gains, but this time we got the first down. That was, I believe, to Vanderbush again. That was they get 6. So Newell's completed his last 4 passes now after going incomplete on his first. First and 10 at the Harrison 29. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Newell in shotgun. High snap, but he gets it. Fakes the handoff. Throws deep down the right side. Touchdown! Yes! Oh, my God. Boy, did we need that. That was Isaiah Miller, only his 2nd touchdown of the season. Boy, did we need that. All right, so now what will we do for the conversion? Plainfield 13 of 19 on 2-point conversions on the season. And but they stopped the 2-point conversion, so Harrison does retain the lead. Nevertheless, Plainfield getting some much needed momentum. Well, it would have been great if we got the 2-point conversion and took the lead, but things looking a lot better than they did a few minutes ago. Now what we got to do is just keep the pressure on, and we got to do something to stop them on this drive. Plainfield Harrison averaged nearly 10 yards a play on their first drive. We got to do better than that. So now Plainfield's set to kick off. .539 to go here in the first quarter. Harrison 7, Plainfield. Harrison 7, Plainfield 6. A failed 2-point conversion, the difference in the score. So it's a deep kick fielded just shy of the end zone. Brought up to the 15, and he's hit around the 16, gets about 2 more yards up to about the 18. So 5:35 to go here in the first quarter of this playoff opener. Harrison leading Plainfield 7-6. This is the 4th time that these two teams have met in the last 14 months after only meeting once in their previous histories. That was back in the opening round of the 92 playoffs. Harrison beat Plainfield 35-14, went on to win their only state championship that year. That was in Class 4A. Both teams now playing in 5A. So first and 10 at the 19 for the Raiders, 2 receivers to the left one. And now with the play whistle dead before the snap. A flag before the snap. It's against it's a 5-yard penalty against Harrison, so we'll take it. All the breaks we can get here. So 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 15. We got to take advantage. We got to get them off the field here. Got to get the lead, make them play from behind. At least we know we can move against these guys offensively. And now a handoff, and he's up for about 10 yards. That was Pop with his 3rd carry of the game. They give him 10. He's 3 for 32 on the game. So all of a sudden, 2nd and 5. We can't let him have first down here. Not after it was 1st and 15. So now Three receivers to the right, one running back on each side of Dixon, who is in shotgun. Takes the snap. Kanoy moves left, and we got a penalty, and it's. I think it's going to be offsides against the Quakers. So yeah, it's 5 yards. So automatic. So that results in a first down. So we had them 1st and 15, a 10-yard run and a 5-yard penalty, and wipes it out. So now the Raiders have a fresh set of downs with 29, 4:42 to go here in the first quarter playoff opener. The winner of this game will play the winner of another game going on right now in Tippecanoe County, just a few miles from here, Decatur Central over at Lafayette McCutcheon. So now, snap, hand off there to Kanoy. He's got some room on the left side. He's got the first down and more past the 45. So 16 yards there for Carter Kanoy. And keep in mind, Carter Kanoy has in each of the 3 games against Plainfield over the last 2 years before today, he scored a touchdown in each game. In fact, the 2 touchdowns last year were of 80 and 68 yards. So we got to watch out for him. So far, we have not shown that we can contain their rushing offense, which is a big concern, especially as long as Harrison's playing with the lead. And now another first down. That was Pop again. $11 yards there for Pop. He's 4 for 43, averaging over 10 a carry. We got to do better than that. $3:38 to go and counting. Harrison now with the ball, 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 43, leading 7-6. 2 running backs now, 1 receiver to the left. Now a handoff, and he's up for about 5 or 6. Pop again. Why not? Give him credit for 6. He's 5 for 49 by my count. And I'll tell you, as long as Plainfield is, and by the way, Dixon has not thrown a pass yet. Harrison has run 10 plays, all rushes, and why not? Because, we haven't shown that we can contain their run. So they're doing what I would do if I were coaching them. So now Ferguson, and he's up for, it's going to be a little short of the first, about 2 or 3. Ferguson scored the touchdown. Give him credit for 3, bringing up 3rd and 1 at the 37, obviously in 4-down territory. And now we've got an official timeout. Not sure what the issue is, but the clock stops with 2:28 to go here in the first quarter. Oh, they're going to do a measurement. Didn't look to me like he made it, but no harm in checking. 7:53 time of day. This game was delayed by half an hour. It's customary to delay a game half an hour when one team is traveling from a long distance. In fact, sometimes in the playoffs, when teams are traveling a super long distance, they will actually play the game on Saturday afternoon or maybe early Saturday evening to allow for the extra travel time. And also probably weather would be a consideration. You're less likely to be playing in frigid weather. So, yeah, it was not a first down, so 2:28 to go. So 1 receiver at each side now. 2 running backs. Handoff, and he's tripped up. He might have. It was by Ferguson, but they said he did get it. He didn't get much, but it looks like he did get. Looks like he did get the 1 yard that he needed. So they're marking it 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 30, 2:13 to go. Looks like several more Plainfield fans have filed in since I last reported. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1 running back. Handoff. Pitch back to Kanoy. We got a flag, and he's inside the 50, inside the 20. I'm sorry, inside the 10. Rare, maybe my number's the wrong way, but hopefully it'll be coming back. There was an early flag. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be coming back based on the motion of the players. So we got to take advantage of this. The drive started off 5-yard penalty, making that made it 1st and 15 for Harrison at their own 14. But then they got a 10-yard rush on the first on first down, and then a Plainfield penalty moved the ball up another 5 yards. Okay, so it's against the Raiders, illegal shift. Okay, good. Just got to take advantage here. So 10-yard penalty. 1st and 20. All right. No excuse for not getting him off the field here. You got to stop it when it's when you got to stop him when it's 1st and 20 or 1st and 17 now. And now keeper, and now he gets up for about 10 or 11 yards by Dixon. That was his first keeper of the game. He got 12. So, yeah, now from 1st and 17 to 2nd and 12. So, rushing defense clearly Plainfield's biggest weakness in this game. So now they line up Jackson Swathwood, wide receiver, out to the left. It looks like Kanoy's out to the right this time. Now Kanoy shifts left. And now fakes the handoff. And we got it for a sec. Yes. Boy, did we ever need that. Yes. All right. There is a flag. Hopefully it's not against us, but we'll see. Face mask. Oh, against Plainfield. Well, so it wipes out that sack, and I guess that'll make it a first down. 57.8 seconds to go in the quarter now. 7:57 your time of day. Come on, boys. Very concerning start to Plainfield. Very concerning start to the game for Plainfield, though they did play well on their last offensive drive, scoring easily. But they're going to have to make some stops too. So now 2nd and 1 for the Raiders at the Plainfield 22. 2 receivers to the right. Now a handoff, and he's tripped up, and he might not have made it. I think he's brought down for a slight loss. That was Ferguson. $20 seconds to go and counting. The Raiders do not have to run another play. They're saying he was down at the line of scrimmage, and it looks like Harrison's going to let the clock run out. So after 1 quarter of play here at Tippecanoe County, a very concerning start to the playoffs for your Plainfield Quakers. They trail the Harrison Raiders 7-6 with Harrison having the ball 3rd and 1 at the Plainfield 21. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football and AudioSportsOnline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors, who we hope you will support. They are CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Gunnell Financial, Remax Centerstone Julia Burbrich, Midwest Pizza, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design and Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Ellison Associates Remax, Chipotle, and Double D Barbecue. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the second half. Back here at Tippecanoe County, we're about to start off the second half with your Plainfield Quakers trailing the Harrison Raiders 7-6 here in the playoff opener. Plainfield entering the game at 6-3, but having lost 3 of their last 4. Currently ranked number 12th in the state in Class 5A in the AP poll. Harrison enters the game at 8-1 on an 8-game winning streak and ranked number 5. They're only lost 15-14 to Harrison. 15-14 at Plainfield back in week 2. Keep in mind, last year when these two teams played right here in this stadium, in the playoff opener. Harrison was also 8-1 and also ranked number 5. But the Quakers pull off the win. Will history repeat itself? We'll see. So 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs. Now a handoff there, and he's got the first down and more inside the 20 up to about the 15. That was Ethan Pop once again. And a gain of 7. So Pop 6 for 56 by my count. We got to do better than what we're doing. We just got to get a stop on their rushing defense. You know, they have not. Harrison has not thrown a pass yet. They've not thrown a pass yet, and you know they certainly haven't needed to the way they do the ball. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right now. Pitch, and we try to. He's got some room, and he inside the 10 breaks the tackle, and he could go all the way. He dives toward the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown. Carter Canoy. In the 4 games that Harrison's played against Plainfield the last 14 months, Carter Canoy has now scored 1 touchdown in each game. This one coming with 11:25 to go here in the quarter. The score now: Harrison 13, Plainfield 6 with the conversion pending. So what will Harrison do with the conversion? They are 9 of 11 on 2-point conversions, and a 2-point conversion would give them a very commanding 2-possession lead here. So let's see. So we got to stop them here. They are going for the 2. 1 receiver at each side, 2 running backs, and we've got a flag here. So it's against Plainfield, so half the distance to the goal. So the pressure even higher on our defense now. Come on, guys, let's make a stop here. Now and he's got it. So Carter Canoy appropriately after his 15-yard touchdown rush, he also rushes in the 2-point conversion. So we go down by 2 scores, and that is very concerning. 11:25 to go here. And you know, this shows us, you know, the double-edged sword of, you know, going for the 2-point conversion as much as we do. You know, we're 13 for 20, which is great, but you know, right now it's because we have a failed 2-point conversion that we're in a 2-possession deficit. We're not out of it, but we got to keep pace with them, especially because we have not shown we can stop them on defense. And I'm to the point now, I think we should seriously consider going for some onside kicks in this game, because just as part of Whiteland's key to beating us was taking 2 possessions away from us, part of, you know, beating Harrison tonight might be taking, you know, at least 1, if not 2 possessions away from them. Harrison, you know, they're playing tonight like they want to exercise, you know, the demons of their last 2 losses to us. We stuck a dagger through their heart in the playoffs last year in the 4th quarter with a come-from-behind win. They know that they helped to beat themselves. A short-range kick, it's taken at about the 34, brought up to about the 36 or so. So Plainfield once again will start off with decent field position. Now, right now, I'm thinking of one of my favorite John Wooden quotes, which is saying a lot because John Wooden had a lot of great quotes. He said, "Be quick, but don't hurry." Words of wisdom, John. Words of wisdom. So now, pitch back to, with Luke Starnes. He gets about 4. So that'll move the ball up to about the 40. I have Starnes 5 for 16. He's only a sophomore, arguably the MVP of this game. I guess it's a battle between Starnes and Newell. Obviously, Newell will be the biggest star returning next year after Newell graduates. Should be going on to play for college, possibly Division I. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 running back, Newell in shotgun. Hands off to Starnes again. And this time he's got the first down and a little more. Good job. Straight up the middle. Got a good hole there. Gain of 7 yards there for Luke Starnes. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Give it to Starnes again. Takes it straight up the middle again, and he gets 5 or 6. Give him credit for 5 there. So Starnes now looks like he's starting to hit his stride. 10-17 to go in the second quarter. Harrison 15, Plainfield 6. The Raiders 2 touchdowns and 3 points worth of conversions. The Quakers 1 touchdown and a missed 2-point conversion. Trying to get within the 1 score here. 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs now. Plainfield not running with 2 running backs. And now handoff. No, Neal decides to keep it, and he's brought down for maybe a gain of 1. It's going to be a very critical third down. Very critical third down for the Quakers. They did give him credit for 2. He got a slightly better spot than I expected. 3rd and 4 for the Quakers. Come on, boys. I assume we would go for it on 4th down here. So 2 receivers to each side now. Come on, boys. Now we got then the plays whistle dead. Plays whistle dead. Waiting for a signal, and it looks like it's against Harrison, so it will be a first down. So now at least we don't have the pressure of getting the first down here. So 1st and 10 for the Quakers at the Harrison 42. Quakers trailing by 9, 9:16 to go here in the second quarter. 15-6 your score. This is the 4th game between these 2 teams in the last 14 months after only playing once previously. So now we've got 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. I believe Starnes is still in there at running back. Now fix the handoff to Starnes. Newell rolls left, passes. He's got a completion, and he's tackled over on the left side for about 4 or 5. I believe that was Hendry there. So 4 yards there for Hendry. So now screen pass also complete, and he's over to Vanderbush, and he might have the first. He's so they give him credit for 5. Newell has completed 7 of 8 passes for 63 yards and a touchdown. 3rd and 1 now at the 33. So obviously in 4-down territory. 2 receivers to each side now. Hand off to Starnes. He plows forward, and he's should have the first down. Yeah, he got it. So he got about 5 there. So 1st and 10 now at the Harrison 28. So the Quakers have moved well on their last 2 possessions. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And now handoff to Starnes, and he's spins around and breaks a tackle, gets inside the 20, inside the 15, up to about the 10. So Luke Starnes with his biggest gain of the evening. Give him credit for 18 there. I have Starnes 9 for 51. So having a quietly effective game, that was his biggest gain of the evening by far. His longest prior to that was 8. So the Quakers now 1st and goal, 6:57 to go, trailing by 9 points. Three receivers to the left, two to the right. This is a good formation for a quarterback keeper, Newell. And he does take it. No, he throws into the end zone, and it is touchdown. Yes, yes. I believe that was Vanderbush. All right. So Newell has now completed his after going incomplete on his first pass. He's completed his last 8. That one going 10 yards to Vanderbush for the touchdown. So Newell with 2 touchdowns tonight. You're scoring now 15-12 with the conversion pending. And it looks like they are going to so it looks like Hayob is going for the extra point now. It is up and it is good. So your Plainfield Quakers hanging in there with 6:40 to go in the second quarter here in the playoff opener at Tippecanoe County. Your score: Harrison 15, Plainfield 13 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. We're in our 15th year of bringing you Quaker football here. And Plainfield now that drive consuming 4 minutes and 45 seconds. It was very methodical. Both Plainfield scoring drives have been. They moved the ball very well. The question is, are they going to make any stops? Because Harrison has, run the ball at will on their first 2 possessions. They have not thrown a pass yet. Even though Calix Dixon completes 82% of his passes on the season, and no, that's not a mistake. 82%. He throws, generally very short passes, high percentage, but he's an extremely efficient player on the year. 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in his first. He did not start until this year, so hopefully his breakout senior season will get him a college scholarship. And one of the best ways to get a steal, if you're a college recruiter, look at guys who flew under the radar until their senior seasons. So Newell threw 2 touchdown passes tonight, and then one touchdown by each of the senior wide receiver stars, Isaiah Miller and Caden Vanderbush. The kickoff now bounces and goes out of bounds around the 5. So the Raiders take over at their own 30. 6:40 to go. And here's the thing, because Harrison gets the ball first to start the second half. It is so important that we do not do what they want to do right now, which is to get a touchdown. With little time left, in the quarter, and then come out to start off the second half and get another touchdown, take a 3-touchdown lead. That would be nearly insurmountable. We got to make sure we don't let that happen. We got to get a stop here. Okay, so they're doing a re-kick. They're doing a re-kick from the 35. .640 to go. Harrison 15, Plainfield 13. It's a deep kick, fielded at the around the 16, right over to the 25, 30. He's got a hole, 35. He breaks the tackle at past the 40, 45, and runs out of bounds just shy of midfield. So the Raiders take over in good field position at their own 45. 6:33 to go here in the second quarter in a 15-13 lead. They do get the ball first to start the second half. Now we just got to get some kind of stop here. So now handoff to Kanoy. He runs around the right side, and he's past the first down marker up to about the 40. So Carter Kanoy, hoping this will not be his final high school game. Give him credit for 16 on that one. 1st and 10 at the 39. So, 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs. Dixon in shotgun. Harrison has not passed all game. And now, fakes the handoff, and Dixon takes it up himself for about 7. Second and 4 now at the 33. So 2 receivers to each side, 2 running backs. And now fakes the handoff. Now pitches back, gets a guy going in the other direction, and he gets the first down. That was Ferguson, picks up about 8. So it'll be an 8-yard pickup for Kristen Ferguson. And now we've got a timeout here. So Plainfield taking their first time out. I think that, Coach Blush just wants to make some adjustments on offense because, look, here's what I have so far for rushing numbers for Harrison. Kanoy 4 for 41. Ferguson Kanoy 4 for 41 and a touchdown. Ferguson 6 for 32 and a touchdown. Pop 6 for 56. Dixon 2 for 18. Nothing that Plainfield has done so far in this game has shown that they can contain Harrison's rushing offense efficiently, which is why the Raiders have not passed more than 3/8 of the way into this game. So 5:21 here. Now back to action here. 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs. Takes the handoff there, and now gives it to, I believe that was Ferguson, and he gets up for about 3. I think Harrison's. They only give him credit for 2. That's probably about probably about the fewest yards they've gotten on any play in this game. 2nd and 8 at the 25. At the 23 now, excuse me. So under 5 minutes to go. I think Harrison's hoping that they will score, with little or no time left in the quarter. And now pitch back, and now gets up to about the 20. Ferguson again. Give him credit for 3 on that one. So 3rd and 5 at the 20. 4:18 to go. Come on, boys. Get a stop here. So now Jackson Gwynn lines up to the right. 1 receiver to the left. 1 running back. And now pitch back to Ferguson. And we got some good coverage, and we bring him down, but we got a flag, so let's see what that's about. We got him down for a loss, but will it count? Will it count? Officials are deliberating on the other side of the field. Holding against Harrison. So will we accept the penalty, or will we decline it and make it 4th down and 4th and long? We shall see. Penalties declined, so it'll be 4th down. Probably, I think that's Plainfield's first tackle for loss of the whole game. So 4th and 8. No excuse for not getting him off the field here, boys. Okay, 1 receiver to each side, 2 running backs. And now see, we've got three on the. Maybe they're trying to draw us off sides, and I think Harrison just took their timeout with 1 second left on the play clock. Trying to draw us off sides, thankfully didn't work. So when we return to action, it'll be 4th and 8. Harrison with the ball at the Plainfield 23. Plainfield leading. Harrison leading 15-13. Trying to take a 2-possession lead into the locker room, and then making a 3-possession lead to start off the second half when they get the ball first. We got to stop them here. Both teams with 2 timeouts. So if we stop them here, we will have a decent amount of time to get a score, and even a field goal would put us in the lead and give us some momentum. After we went 3 and out on offense on our first possession, the first possession of the game for either team, we've scored pretty easily on our ensuing 2 possessions. The problem is Harrison scored easily on their 2 possessions, and they've scored 2 more conversion points than we have, 3-1. Now on their third drive, we got them on 4th and 8. So now Alex Steen lined up for what would be a 39-yard field goal. It is up, and it is wide left. So Plainfield takes over, 3:22 to go, and with a chance, with any score, including a field goal, we would take the lead. We trail 15-13 now. We've scored on our last 2 possessions on touchdown passes from Hunter Newell, who hopefully is not playing his final high school game. Both of his touchdown passes came to seniors. Isaiah Thomas for 29 yards, Cale Vanderbush for 10. Or Caden Vanderbush for 10. Caden Vanderbush bound for Eastern Michigan University. We're still waiting on commitments from Newell and Miller, but I think they both will be playing college ball as well. So now 2 receivers each side, 1 running back. And now it's a handoff, but he's brought down for a loss. That was Hendry. Hendry on his first rush of the game. I'm sorry, that was Starnes on the carry. I'm sorry. Well, it wasn't as bad a spot as I guessed. They only got him for -2. I always thought it was about -4. So anyway, and now they're swarming Newell. He gets rid of it, and he gets a decent gain of about 7. So Vanderbush got it. So Newell's completed his last 9. Vanderbush gets 6 yards. He has 4 receptions for 23 on the game now, including a touchdown. A very critical 3rd and 6 for the Quakers. 2:47 to go. They really want to go into the halftime with the lead. And now we got a timeout here. And I think Plainfield has just taken their second timeout wisely. 2:47 to go. So all of a sudden, 3 timeouts used here in the latter half of the second quarter here. So Decatur Central now leading McCutcheon 19-0. If Plainfield wins today, they will be playing at Decatur Central in Southwest Indianapolis next week. But first things first, we got to take care of this game today. Right now, we're trailing by 2. 2:47 to go in the half. We have a 3rd and 6 at our own 24. Yeah, McCutcheon actually enters this game tonight over in Lafayette against Decatur Central on a 5-game winning streak, as does Decatur Central, by the way. But like Harrison, they've played a much weaker schedule than we've played here in the Mid-State Conference. Nevertheless, Harrison is still with the upper hand by 2 points. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Fakes the handoff. Newell rolls right. He throws it, but I think it's too far out of bounds. He was going for Bowie, but it's just too far to the right. I would imagine we would go for a deep punt here and just trust our defense to at least prevent a score. Harrison scored easily on their first 2 possessions. They got into the red zone of the last one, but then ended up with a missed field goal. We were very lucky to only be down 2 points here. We got to make some adjustments on we got to make some adjustments for our rushing defense on halftime. And now we've got a penalty here before the snap. Five-yard penalty against Harrison. 4th and 1. So 4th and 1 now for Plainfield 29. I doubt they would go for a fake here in this situation, but you never know. And now they do go for the fake, and they didn't get it. They didn't go for it. A very high-risk play. I didn't see who they snapped it to. I couldn't tell from my vantage point, but it's a high-risk play that blows up in our faces, and it could cost us the season. Hopefully it won't. But I think the fact that we went for that here shows that Coach Bless knows that we're having a very hard time containing their rushing defense. So now Harrison takes over. 1st and 10 at our 28 with 2:38 to go. 2 timeouts left. We have 1 timeout left. We got to get a stop here. And now the fake, and now a trick play, and he throws into the end zone, but it is overthrown. Jackson Gwynn threw into the end zone. He had a man open, but put too much on it, so very lucky there. The first pass of the game by Harrison, and it was not by Calix Dillon, their starting quarterback. So good break for the Quakers there. So now, 1 receiver at each side, 2 running backs, 2:32 to go here. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders at the Plainfield 28, leading by 2. And now Dillon throws his first pass, and it is tipped and incomplete. So the first 2 passes for of the game for Harrison come on back-to-back plays, and both are incomplete. And that one is, unfortunately, we didn't have anybody close enough to intercept it because there was a good tip on there. So if we had a guy close by, it could have been intercepted. So now all of a sudden, 1st and 10 goes to 3rd and 10. And I like that because it puts a lot more pressure on Harrison, although, they obviously are in 4-down territory. So now, another pass, and this time it is caught for the touchdown. So that was goodness gracious, we're in trouble now. Well, it's 19-13 with the conversion pending. Well, no passes the whole game, and now 3 in a row. And they're going for a 2-point conversion. This would give them they're lined up for a 1-point conversion. So let's see. And this one is up, and it is good. So they have the 9-point lead back. So the 2-possession lead. Well, Tyler Bless made a controversial. He's made 3 controversial go for it. He's 3 controversial fake punts this year. The first one against Greenwood spearheaded a 24-point run to close out the game as we won 46-20. But then he did one the next week at Decatur Central that contributed to our loss. He took full responsibility for it. And now he does another one here at Harrison that results in a Raider touchdown in the playoffs. So, at the same time, if the fake punt works, he looks like a genius. But As it is, we're 2 possessions down against a team against a team that we have not been able to contain on rushing offense. So no passes at all by Harrison until they do 3 in a row. And now it's a squib. Fielded it and he bobbles it, but then he does get it. He's got a little bit of a hole up to the 20, 30, 35. Finds a little bit of room and then gets over to about the 35 where he's brought down. So, we still have time to do something here, especially with 1 timeout left. That was Bowie, by the way. He was running with a lot of urgency. So now screen pass. It is complete to Miller, and he's got he makes the catch, gets out of bounds after picking up about 7. Give him credit for 7 there. 2 receivers now to each side. Now hand off to Starnes. He's got room. And now I believe that was Newell there on a keeper. So give Newell credit for 1 there on that keeper, bringing up a very critical 3rd and 2 at the Harrison 43, 1:41 to go now. Screen pass. It is complete, but they're right on top of him, and he's knocked out of bounds before he gets to the first. Let's give him credit for 1 on the pass to Vanderbush. Big 4th and 1 here. I assume we're going to go for it at the Harrison 44. No, we're in punt formation. Wow. Unless they go for a second consecutive fake, but as crazy as this season has been, they go for the punt. Oh, no. Bounces around the 35, takes a little bit of a plain field bounce, goes out of bounds around the 30. Well, 50.2 seconds to go now. The good news is that Harrison likely, being that they're primarily a rushing dominated team and they're 70 yards shy of the end zone, under a minute to go, they probably will not do anything fancy here. So probably they will not get any more points in the half, but they do come out. They get the ball first to start the second half, and if they get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, they will have a 3-possession lead, and we will be in very deep trouble. And now, but they start off with a run of about 11. That was Pop again. Give him credit for about 11. So he's 7 for 67 on the game for Pop, just under 10 a carry. And now Pop again, 30.8 seconds to go, and Harrison uses its second timeout. Now, I don't mind too much giving up some 5 or 6 yard rushes here where they're not likely to score. 30.8 seconds to go, and now Harrison's just used his second timeout, but we're going to have to make a lot of big adjustments at the half. So for those of you just joining us, with 30.8 seconds to go here in the second quarter here in Tippecanoe County, The Harrison Raiders are leading your Plainfield Quakers 22-13 here in the first round of the playoffs. It's as simple as Plainfield has just not contained Harrison's rushing offense. I mean, that's the game in a nutshell. And that's something that, I think going into the offseason, we're going to be working very hard on. So now, Dylan, that we swarm him. He gets the pass off, and he breaks the tackle, gets out of bounds after getting the first down. I believe that was Ferguson there. Give him credit for 5 there. So 1st and 10 now for the Raiders at the Plainfield 49. And now a keeper, and he's got some room. He's inside the up to about the 35. So the clock will stop to move the chains, and they still have 1 timeout left. I think they've just used it. Yeah. So Harrison uses their last timeout. So we're in trouble if they get any kind of score here to close out the half. Very big trouble. So the Raiders have, after the timeout, they will they just use their last timeout. They will have they'll have it 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 35. By the way, there were only 29 points scored total when these two teams played at Plainfield back in week 2, 9 weeks ago, 63 days ago. Now there already been 35 in the first half tonight. So now the Raiders get into position. Jackson Gwynn, wide receiver to the left. Ethan Pop, Carter Canoy to the left. 3 receivers to the right. 1 running back. Takes the snap, drops back. Plenty of time. He throws, and it is caught, and he gets out of bounds inside the 25. Gets the first down. 13.5 seconds to go. So 11 yards there on the pass from Cailix Dillon. First name spelled Cailix. That's a new one to me. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back. And now they swarm him. He throws into the end zone, and it is incomplete. 8.5 seconds to go. So time for at least 1 more play, maybe 2. The good news is they don't have timeouts, so they're pretty well limited to either throwing near the sideline or into the end zone. 2nd and 10 now. So now they're going for a field goal here, a 41-yarder. Steen already missed from 39 tonight. He was wide left, but showing a lot of confidence in that young man. And I think Plainfield has just used their last timeout. Steen, by the way, he's coming into tonight. Well, counting his miss tonight, he's 3 for 7 with a long of 40. So this would be a season long for him. So let me catch my breath here with 8.5 seconds to go here in the first half. Harrison's leading Plainfield 22-13. The Raiders have the ball 2nd and 10 at the Quaker 24 and are about to attempt a 41-yard field goal by Alex Steen. Steen is a senior, 6'1", 165. This would be a season long for him if he makes it. Boy, it'd be great to get a block here and return it. It is, it's got the distance, and it is good. 4.3 seconds to go. So Steen now an even 50% of his field goals on the season, 4 for 8. And it's a 25-13 lead, 25-13 lead for the Raiders. Plainfield in trouble, especially, and now keep in mind that a touchdown. If Harrison gets the ball first to start the second half, and if they if they if Harrison scores on that touchdown, if Harrison scores on that drive, then even if they don't get, if Harrison scores on the first possession of the second half, even if they do not get any conversion points, they will have a 3-possession lead. That I hate to say this, but looking at it honestly, that would probably be insurmountable, or at least close to it. So squib kick. And I'd say it's worth just doing something with it. And now they take it up to the 20, 25, 30, and that's it. He's brought down around the 30. So after one half of play here in Tippecanoe County, your Plainfield Quakers not out of it, but they're in trouble. They trail the Harrison Raiders by a score of 25-13 here on audiosportsonline.com. We'll be back with a recap and a look into the second half after these words from our sponsors. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football and audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors, who we hope you will support. They are CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Gunnell Financial, Greenback Centerstone Julia Berberich, Midwest Pizza, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Record Service and Garage, Ellison Associates, Remax, Chipotle, and Double D Barbecue. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Tippecanoe County, we're at halftime, where we have a very concerning situation brewing. Your Plainfield Quakers here in their playoff opener, trailing the Harrison Raiders by a score of 25-13. It's a game in which Plainfield's rushing defense simply has failed to contain Harrison for almost the entire game, and that is the difference. I'm going to have the complete stats and scoring recap and other comments shortly, but right now I'm going to take a short pause. I'm going to take a little break, a snack break, and get something especially to wet my throat, and so I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. So don't go anywhere, and I'll be back with the second half, which hopefully it will be a comeback for the ages that will move us into the sectional championship game next week. But we'll see. But don't give up on these kids yet. They've overcome a lot, and I still believe in them. And I believe that if they just go all out and give their best effort, they can make this comeback and, make this one of the greatest come from behind wins in school history. So be back in a few minutes. Well, back here at Tippecanoe County, we're about to start the second half of this playoff opening game with your Plainfield Quakers trailing the Harrison Raiders by a score of 25-13. It's a game in which Plainfield has mostly played well on offense, but their rushing defense has struggled mightily, and that's the difference in the game. Plainfield got the ball first, went 3 and out, gaining only 2 yards. Then on Harrison's ensuing possession, they opened the scoring on a 4-yard rush by Kristen Ferguson. Alex Steen hit the extra point, making it 7-0. Plainfield did fire back quickly on their ensuing possession on a 29-yard touchdown pass from Hunter Newell to Isaiah Miller. However, the 2-point conversion failed, so Harrison retained the lead at 7-6. Then on Harrison's ensuing possession, Carter Canoy scored on a 15-yard pass from Calix Dillon. Canoy then rushed in his own extra point, making the score 15-6, thus giving Harrison a 15-6 lead. Plainfield again scored a touchdown on their next possession on a 28-yard touchdown pass from, a 10-yard touchdown pass, a 10-yard touchdown pass from Hunter Newell to Caden Vanderbush. Leo Hoyob hit the extra point, making it 15-13. Then on Plainfield, then on Harrison's ensuing possession, they missed a 39-yard field goal attempt from Alex Steen. However, on Plainfield's ensuing possession, they made the very bold move to go for it on 4th and 1 at their own 28. It failed. And then on Harrison's ensuing drive, Dillon threw 28 yards to Ferguson for a touchdown. Steen kicked the extra point, making it 22-13, thus giving the Raiders a 9-point lead and thus a 2-possession lead for the second time in the game. And then after another punt by the Quakers, Steen ended the half with a 41-yard field goal, season long, with 4.3 seconds to go in the half, bringing us to our current score of 25-13. A look at the individual statistics. First of all, for Plainfield, Hunter Newell has completed 11 of 13 passes for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Caden Vanderbush has 5 receptions for 27 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Miller has 3 receptions for 42 yards and a touchdown. Jameer Bowie has 2 receptions for 14 yards, and Brandon Hendry 1 for 4. On the ground, Luke Starnes has 9 rushes for 43 yards. Weston Wayrich 1 for 5, and Hunter Newell 3 for 3. Meanwhile, for Harrison, Calix Dillon has completed 6 of 7 passes for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. Landon Nikoloff has completed 1 of 2 for 11. Carter Canoy has 4 receptions for 52 yards and a touchdown. Kristen Ferguson 2 receptions for 24 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Gwynn 1 reception for 11 yards. On the ground, Ethan Pop 7 rushes for 67 yards. Kristen Ferguson 9 rushes for 44 yards and a touchdown. Calix Dillon 3 for 30, and Carter Canoy 3 for 0. So now with 1:41 to go on the pregame clock, on the halftime clock, excuse me. Basically, I hate to say this, but I really believe that we should go for an onside kick to start off the second half, because we have not shown that we can contain this Harrison rushing offense. The thing is, if they had, basically, we failed to contain Braden Shrake, Martinsville's running back, who was almost their whole offense 2 weeks ago in the regular season penalty. And granted, we had the mitigating circumstances of heavy rain for a lot of that game. But we failed to contain him. And I think probably Harrison saw that game tape, and they have 3 very good running backs with Ferguson, Canoy, and Pop, while Dillon, the quarterback himself, is, a very good rusher. So I figured, I think Harrison probably said, hey, they couldn't contain this one rusher, so I don't think they can contain the four of us. And sure enough, Plainfield hasn't been able to. So hopefully they will. Hopefully we'll come up with something. But I think part of our key to coming back in this game is we're going to have to take a possession away from them. Now, I've seen Plainfield, come back. Keep in mind they came back from 14 down late in the first half to beat Harrison 15-14 back in week 2. So we can do this, but I'm hopeful that we will improve defensively. That our rushing defense will improve in the second half. But realistically, I don't know that we'll be able to. So I think taking a possession away from Harrison might be one of our keys to victory. We will see. So now the 12 minutes set on the clock here. A lot of nervousness here in Quaker Nation. The fans across the field in the visiting bleachers, who took advantage of this this amazing weather for late October. But they're sitting there very tensely right now. Meanwhile, there's a lot of jubilation here on the Harrison side of the field as they look, as they have hope of their third sectional in the last 5 years, third sectional championship. So now going down to the 10, the kick returned up to the 20. Scott's room on the left side. We got a flag. He gets up to 35, 40, and now to bounce around the 43. But let's see. Let's see what the flag is all about. Undoubtedly, Harrison has lived. It was okay. Holding against the Raiders, so the long return's coming back. Harrison, it was a year ago tomorrow that, right on this very field, we were down 28-21 around midway through the fourth quarter when we converted on 4th and 18 on a 39-yard touchdown pass from Hunter Newell to Grant Irwin. Then on Harrison's ensuing possession, amazingly, they lost a fumble. It was recovered by our ironically named Harrison Herbeck, who returned it all the way for a touchdown, giving us a 35-28 lead. Then amazingly on Harrison's next possession, they lost another fumble and we ran out the clock. So now 1st and 10 at the 15 for the Raiders to start off the drive. And now they past the 30, 35, past the 50, and then got up to the 35. So that's a 50-yard run to start off the half. Oh my God. Carter Canoy. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. So 1st and 10 at the 35 now, and now another handoff, and they're up for about 5 yards there. So 2nd and 5 at the 30 now for the Raiders. One receiver to the left, 2 running backs. And now another handoff, and he's tripped up, but I think he got the first. That was Pop. And he does get the first. So 1st and 10 at the 25. 10:39 to go. Plainfield already down by 12, in danger of going down by 3 possessions, in which case we are in very serious trouble. In which case our chances of winning this game probably drop below 1%, even with more than 22 minutes to play. So one receiver at each side now. 2 running backs. Now a keeper, and he gets inside the 20, inside the 15. So he moves it up to the 13, so that's a 12-yard gain there. 22 minutes to go now, hopefully not in the season. And now I don't understand why it's saying 28-13 as the score. It should be 25-13. And now a handoff again. This time that was popped again. Only a gain of about 3 that time. So they didn't give him as good a spot. They're marking it at the 11, so a 2-yard pickup there. So bringing up 2nd and 8, 9:18 to go. So Harrison can afford to be very methodical, run a lot of time off the clock. So now a handoff, and this time he's inside the 10 up to about the 8 or so. That was Ethan Pop again, so it'll bring him about 3rd and 5. So they got the scoreboard corrected. Well, if Harrison gets a field goal here, it would be a 15-point lead, so it would still be within 2 possessions. So 3rd and 5 at the 8 for the Raiders now. And now pitch back. And now he's got some room inside the 5. I think he's got the first. If not, he's within a yard. So, yeah, 1st and goal at the 3. So, I try not to use the word miracle too loosely, but we're at the point now where, it would pretty well almost take a miracle to save us here. 1st and goal at the 3 for the Raiders. Pitch back. And we hit him, but, he drags his way into the end zone. No. They stopped him. There's a flag. There's Ferguson on the ball. I thought he had it. They stopped him just short at the 1. We'll see what the flag's all about. The clock is still running. Well, maybe there wasn't a flag after all. So 2nd and 1 now. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Dillon under center, I think, for the first time all game, and he goes for a quarterback sneak, and he's in. So Calix Dillon, after throwing 2 touchdown passes in the first half, now rushes for 1 in the second half. And the Raiders now with an 18-point lead, 7:06 to go in the 3rd quarter. Plainfield's margin for error now close to 0. And now what are they going to do for the conversion? They're lining up for the extra point now. Steen has an extra. He has a 2-point. He has a 41-yard field goal, and now another extra point. So Alex Steen having a very good game that's his 3rd extra point to go with a 41-yard field goal. And it's 32-13. Ironically, the score of our season opening game, that big win down at Terre Haute South that got us all so excited about the season. 4 more wins started, but then, things changed with the loss at the Decatur Central in the second half collapse. We bounced back with a huge win over Franklin, but then we followed up with 2 wins. 2 games that we should have won. We did have the mitigating circumstances of the rain against Martinsville, but nevertheless, after closing out the regular season, losing 3 of 4, I thought the week off last week would really help us regroup, but apparently, no matter how well practice might have gone, obviously we just, have not been able to contain their rushing attack. And I think if we get a score here, we just got to go for the onside kick. I just don't like our defense's chances to stop the Raiders. So deep kick taken by Bowie at the 15 up to the 20, 25, 30. He's got a hole, and 40, 45, 50, and to about the 47. So that's hopefully that'll inject some life into us. Boy, he was looking like he wanted to take it all the way, and we might need some plays like that. So we take over, in Harrison territory. We got still 18:57 to play in the game. We need 3 touchdowns, or two touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and a field goal. We need 3 scores, nevertheless. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back. Fakes the handoff. Newell drops back. And now he rolls left. He's pressured. Gets rid of it. He goes to Vanderbush. Got it inside the 30. All right. And he gets out of bounds. So we don't just need to score, but we need to score fast. Like John Wooden said, like I said earlier, be quick but don't hurry. That moves Newell over 100 yards on the game. He's completed 12 of 14 passes, 6 of them to Vanderbush. 1st and 10 at the 26 for the Quakers, trailing by 19, 6:50 to go in the third quarter. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 1 running back. Screen pass to Starnes. He finds a little hole, but then he's brought down for a gain of about 2. Starnes, obviously the biggest star, who will be back for us next year. So 2nd and 8 at the 24 for the Quakers. A little over a quarter and a half to make up 19 points. 2 receivers to each side now. Newell takes it. Now fakes the handoff, takes it himself. He's got some room, and he gets about 5. So break be 3rd and short. Newell's underrated on the ground. They only gave him credit for 3. I thought he did a little better than that. But 3rd and 5 at the 21 now for the Quakers. They got to get a score on this possession. So 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. And now Newell throws, and he's got a completion inside the 15. Then he dropped it. Did they say that? Did they say it was incomplete? So they called it incomplete. Bringing up 4th and 5. Obviously got to go for it here. So the not only the game, but the entire season could hinge on this 4th and 5 here from the 21. 5:29 to go in the third quarter. So now they send Newell and I believe Bowie to the left. 2 receivers to the right. Starnes the running back. And now it's the pass. It's complete. Did he get the first down? That was to Miller. They got the first. Okay. Marked him so a gain of 6. So 1st and 10 at the 15. And based on seeing people getting the umbrellas out, it is starting to rain. We'll see how that affects the game. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left now. 1st and at the 15 for the Quakers. And now throws into the end zone, and it's incomplete. So 5:19 to go in the third quarter. 2nd and 10 for the Quakers at the Harrison 15. Your score, Harrison 32, Plainfield 13. Harrison has rushed almost at will tonight, and that's been the difference of the game. The Quakers have moved the ball fairly well on offense, but they've had so little margin for error because of now Starnes. He runs all the way to the right side of the field, but just doesn't find any room, and he's knocked out of bounds here on the line of scrimmage. No, that was Weston Wayrich, excuse me. Weston Wayrich, a promising junior running back. He should be our number 2 back next year, behind Starnes. Hopefully, he'll have a banner senior season for us. So they give him credit for one game for 1 yard there. 3rd and 9 now at the 14 for the Quakers. Come on, boys, let's get something going. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and now Newell swarmed and sacked. So we're gonna have to go for it on what's going to be about 4th and 19 or so. Well, so that's, oh gosh, that is it's a 10-yard loss there. So now on 4th and 20, throws into the end zone. Incomplete. So under 20 minutes left in the season, Harrison takes over with a 19-point lead. Now it's raining. That generally favors the team with the better rushing offense. That was not the case when we lost to Martinsville 2 weeks ago, but well, you know, loving someone means you go through the ups and downs. You know, you don't just celebrate the good times and then abandon them when there's bad times. So now the first play of the ensuing drive is whistled dead. Harrison taking over at their own 23 with a 19-point lead, 3:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. 12 years with the Quakers, there have been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. The only time, however, I remember a season collapsing the way this one did was back in 2013, 10 years ago, when we started off 4-1. We had the highest enrollment in 4A. That was the first year of the Class 6A system. We looked like we were serious contenders for the Class 4A state championship. Hold that thought. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left now. Handoff, and he gets up the middle for about 5. Have a hard time bringing him down, but we were 4-1. The only loss was to Roncalli. We beat Columbus North on the road, a 6A team, when we were a 4A team. But injuries mounted. We lost the last 5 games, including the sectional opener at Lebanon, which was 2 days ago. I saw from my Facebook post was the 10-year anniversary of that game. That was the game that we absolutely would have won had we been healthy. Heck, we would have won that game if we had Morgan Hagee, our star kicker, who was out with an injury. That twice, he would have gotten a field goal for us, and we ended up with no points on drives. We lost that game 35-24. It's very rare that you lose the game because your kicker's out, but that's one that we did. And now a first down up the middle, and we have a hard time bringing him down, and he's still on his feet, gets nearly to midfield. That was Ethan Pop. Well, this is not the way I wanted to go into the off season. But I'm going to propose in the post game segment. I'm going to propose a slogan for. Okay, it looks like it's coming back because of a penalty. I missed the flag. Sorry about that. But I'm going to propose that next year, Coach Bless's slogan to the kids is going to be "Finish strong." That is the lesson to learn from the season. So apparently the penalty was after the first down. So Harrison is going to have it 1st and 10 at their own 34. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And now we got a flag, the play whistle dead. And, one thing, and it looks like it's going to be against Harrison, probably doesn't matter much at this point. They have the ball in a 19-point lead with 2:27 to go in the third quarter. But, I love these kids, and despite the way things have gone the last 5 games, I'm proud of them. I feel bad for the seniors going out this way, but there's a bright future for this program. So please keep supporting these kids in the years ahead. So now, a keeper by Dillon gets about 2 yards. It's 1st and 15 now. It looks like it's going to be, last I heard, Decatur Central was leading McCutcheon 19-0. So it looks like it'll be Harrison versus Decatur Central for the sectional championship 1 week from tonight. So it'll be the 2 teams who we beat to win the sectional last year. So 2 receivers to the left now. I'm sorry, 1 receiver to each side, 2 running backs. 2nd and 15 at the 29 for the Raiders. And now fakes the handoff, and he gets Samu on the right side, and he's got the first down and more. Inside the 15, that's Kanoy, and inside the 30, 35, I'm sorry. So Kanoy picking up about 46 yards there. 1:04 to go in the third quarter. Harrison trying to build on a 19-point lead. Last year in the game we were eliminated, it was 21-14 going into the fourth quarter, where we collapsed and gave up 4 touchdowns to Whiteland, who ended up losing the Class 5A state championship game to Valparaiso 35-31. Under a minute to go in the third quarter now. First and 10 at the 32 for the Raiders. 1 receiver to each side, 2 running backs. And rush up the middle for about 2. So that'll bring up 2nd and 8, and that will likely be the last play of the quarter. So, with 12 minutes to go in the game, and unfortunately probably 12 minutes to go in the season for Plainfield, your score here in Tippecanoe County: Harrison 32, Plainfield 13. We'll be back with the conclusion, with the last quarter, after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors, who we hope you will support. They are CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Gunnell Financial, Remax Centerstone Julia Berberich, Midwest Pizza, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Ellison Associates Remax, Chipotle, and Double D Barbecue. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Tippecanoe County, we're about to start the fourth quarter, likely the final quarter of the season for your Plainfield Quakers, who trail the Harrison Raiders by a score of 32-13. It's a game in which Harrison played good enough. Plainfield played good enough offense in the first half to hang in there, but they just didn't have the rushing defense tonight to stop the Raiders' 4-prong attack, and that's been the difference in this game. So right now, to start off the quarter, Harrison has the ball, 2nd and 8 at the Plainfield 30. I would imagine the Raiders will be very conservative here, just trying to keep the clock and the chains moving and get another score. Rush up the middle, gets about 3 or 4 out of it. Ethan Pop again, he's rushed very effectively tonight, close to 10 yards a carry. $11:30 to go now, and I'm sorry the wind's really been taken out of my sails tonight. I'm very, very, very sad about the way this game has turned out. So one receiver to the right, two running backs. Now some shifting. One receiver to each side now. Now fakes the handoff and Pop. Now Pop takes it up for about 2 or 3. He's going to be just short of the first down, so going to be 4th and very short. 11 minutes to go now. Fourth and 1 now. If we make the stop here, and now they're actually doing a measurement here, so the clock stops at 10:47. Harrison 32, Plainfield 13. By the way, we do have a final score. In the other game in this sectional, just a few miles from here, Decatur Central has beaten McCutcheon by a score of 33-0. So McCutcheon ends the season at 6-4. Their 5-game losing streak is over. Decatur Central now has won their 6th consecutive game. They will enter the sectional championship game next week with a record of 8-2, most likely against Harrison. So 4th and inches now. That'd be nice if we could get a stop here. You know, any kind of defensive positive is welcome. I mean, we've made maybe 2 good stops the whole game. This is a team for which we've simply had no answers. Our rushing defense. This is a team for which our rushing defense has had no answers. So now it looks like Dylan might go for another quarterback sneak. He did score a touchdown on a quarterback sneak earlier. And they moved the chains. They got 1 or 2 yards there on the rush. Kanoy there on the carry picks up about 2. So 10:31 to go. The clock stops to move the chains. Well, and now wait, we've got well, I think we've got an injury here from Harrison. I cannot tell who it is. Hopefully it's not serious, but anyway, I have a little bittersweet story to tell right now. You know, my son Liam goes with me to almost every game. He's 18 now. He just graduated from Lawrence Central High School this year. And, you know, he likes accompanying me to these games, sitting in the press box with me. But his biggest passion is elevators. And he's autistic, and there are at least a few hundred, maybe a few thousand autistic kids around the world who are obsessed with elevators. So just super big elevator experts, and they just love to, you know, watch and often film elevators and record information about them. And 2 years ago, when Plainfield played their tournament game against Cathedral, who rented the University of Indianapolis for that game, my son decided, instead of sitting in the press box with me, he would go around the campus and film elevators. I think he filmed 12 elevators on the U of I campus that night. And tonight, we were so close to Purdue. He asked him, and he sat in the press box with me both games here at Harrison last year. But tonight, he asked me to just drop him off at Purdue so he can film elevators there, which he did. So, you know, the game that he filmed elevators at U of I, you know, the game that I commentated while he filmed elevators at U of I, we lost to Cathedral 54-7. And sadly, you know, we're losing this one, not quite as badly, but still a huge disappointment, especially because I thought we had a 50-50 shot to win this game. So now resuming play here, 2 receivers to the right. Now a handoff gets up the middle for a short game. That was Ferguson again. So my son, the only 2 times that he's ever chosen to go ride elevators instead of, you know, go to a game with me, man, he picked probably the 2 best games that he could have picked to skip. Because, gosh, I was so depressed that night. I mean, granted, I expected us to lose to Cathedral, but it was just the way it was 54-7. And thankfully, Coach Woodard came back for one more year, got a sectional championship. But anyway, so now 1 receiver out to the right, 2 running backs, 9:29 to go and counting, 2nd and 7. Harrison all but has wrapped it up now. And now fake standoff, Dillon. He's got a hole up the middle. He could go all the way inside the 5. He's dragged his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So Calix Dillon, both of the second half touchdowns have been keepers by Calix Dillon. The first one, a quarterback sneak from 1 yard. This one from 17. And that basically clinches the game now, 38-13. Harrison leading with the conversion pending. So Steen on the extra point. It is up and it is good. So 39-13. Gosh frigging darn it. You know, I do my best to always keep these broadcasts G-rated, so don't worry. I'm not going to say anything that you're not allowed to say on broadcast TV or on regular TV. So I'm choosing my words so carefully. You know, I've said a couple of times before that back in my mother country of Sweden, this is one of those times we yell, "For Berlin!" That's an exclamatory phrase in Swedish. It literally means the executioner. So it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite words to say in any language. I speak Swedish about halfway. I can hack my way by when I'm in Sweden or Western Finland, where Swedish is also the main language. In fact, actually, one thing I have, I'll probably share it on the air probably sometime next year. You know, sometime when I have a long halftime. So now a squib kick. And he drops it, but he picks it up. And now he drops it again. And so we're going to start around the 27. But, you know, I actually found that somebody actually created Swedish words and phrases for American football, which I was really pleasantly surprised because American football, you know, is a very minor sport in Sweden. In fact, it's actually a very minor sport just about everywhere other than the USA and Canada. It's got a little bit of an audience in the UK, a couple other places. But anyway, so now Plainfield down by 26, now 9-10 to go, just trying to finish the season on a positive note. And it's almost intercepted. He dropped it, and he might have had a touchdown with it. Newell did not throw an interception until game 8. He threw one against Whiteland, one against Martinsville. Should have had one there, but, you know, the guy dropped it probably because of the wet ball. You know, and both of his interceptions were just desperate throws, as that one would have been. Newell's a great player, you know. God, I'm going to be so emotional in the post-game segment tonight. So now 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, but they pitch back, I believe, and he's brought down the line of scrimmage, and he's gang tackled by about 4 guys there. So you got to like that effort by Harrison when they've got the game won and they're still totally, you know, kicking our buttocks like that. Figuratively and almost literally. 8:40 to go now, 3rd and 10 for the Quakers, trailing by 26. It's not the way we wanted to go out. And my gosh, if Harrison gets another touchdown, well, no, it's 26. So no, they'd have to get 2 more touchdowns to do a running clock, and we're so late in the game it would barely matter at this point. So now Newell throws, and it is throws into double coverage, incomplete. 4th and 10. What the heck? Go for it. Nothing to lose by going for it now. But, you know, I'm not going to cry about this loss because, quite frankly, Harrison deserves to win. They thoroughly outplayed us from top to bottom. And I congratulate them. I take my hat off to them, and I wish them well against Decatur Central. That's going to be a heck of a sectional championship game next week. And whoever wins it, you know, it's going to have a shot to go all the way to the state championship, as we would have. But so now the punt bounces around the 42. It takes a long Plainfield bounce up to about the 25. So with 8:05 to go in the game, Harrison takes over, leading 39-13. I'm going to take a quick soda break, and I will be right back. So now Ferguson again gets a short rush about 2 yards. I would imagine probably Harrison will take out their first unit soon. Now we have a pretty heavy rain here. A guy just, oh my God, a guy just fell over to the ground well after the play. It looks like he's one of his legs. Now we got an official timeout for an injury, 7:47 to go. And I just caught part of that last PA announcement. It sounds like they were warning about the possibility of lightning. And if that happens, I say just forget about the rest of the game. Just euthanize this season right here. Put us out of our misery. Well, like I said, I'm not going to cry about this loss because, we didn't deserve to win. Part of being a loving parent is acknowledging when my kids do something wrong. Part of, being a fan of a team is acknowledging when they just didn't play well enough. And we just didn't tonight. That's a fact. That was CJ Zeltwanger. Good German name there. I'm a German American too. 6'5", 305-pound senior offensive lineman whose career will not end tonight. But I'm not going to be tearful about this loss, but I might get a little tearful talking about these seniors. They've had a great run, and I'm sorry that this is the way they're going out, but it doesn't change how much we love them and how much good they did here. So anyway, 7:33 to go now. 2nd and 10 for the Quakers at their own 26, or at the Raiders, excuse me. And a rush up the middle for about 7 yards. That was Ferguson. So 3rd and short for the Raiders, a little over 7 minutes to go. 26-point lead, just milking the clock now. And I think everybody now just wants to get this game the heck over with, with all this rain here. So, it would be fine with me if both head coaches just mutually agreed to end the game right here. So now over to the, and now he's got the first down over to the 40. Well, this is my one, and that was Kanoy there. But I'll tell you, if it sounds like my heart isn't in it, I just feel dejected right now. I just feel so sick for these kids, ending their high school careers like that. Well, for the seniors, I mean, obviously we got a lot of guys who are going to be back. A lot of good this season. Don't forget, there was a lot of good this season. This was a firm foundation to build on. We did not finish strong. That's got to be the lesson we take out of it. That's got to be the lesson we take into what's going to be a long, painful off season. And now a short rush for a gain of about 1. And I'll tell you, it's amazing how very few of the Harrison fans have left, even in this heavy rain. See a lot of umbrellas out. A good number of the Quaker fans have left. I'd say half of them have left. I don't blame them, especially the long drive they have home. I hope it lets up before my drive home. It's got to be about an hour and 20 minutes or so for me. So Harrison lining up two running backs, two receivers to the right, one to the left. Now fakes the handoff. Dillon takes it up himself, and he gets about 8 or 9. It's going to be just short of the first down. And now it looks like we got a near fight, and then we got at least 2, maybe 3 flags there for what's I guess it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. You don't want to lose your composure this late in the game. You don't ever want to lose your composure, but gosh darn it. I mean, it's I remember at Whiteland I talked about what's a good movie that has a lot of anger for me to let out. I'm trying to think, maybe Raging Bull. Maybe I'll watch Raging Bull when I get home, or maybe Goodfellas. In any violent Scorsese movie, I'm in the mood to watch right now. And those are my 2 favorites. Goodfellas #1, and then Raging Bull's probably #2. I really want to see. I really want to see his new movie, Children, Killers, Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it is. But gosh darn it, it's 3 hours and 26 minutes long. I don't know that I could go. So I think I'm going to wait for it to come out on streaming or home video, because I just don't know that I could go that long without a restroom break. I'm trying to. I've got to think of something lighthearted to talk about here because I'm so depressed. So anyway, another rush, and Harrison's got another first down under 5 minutes now. And I'm sorry that I'm not paying more attention to who's the ball carrier is, but that's happens, when we get down in a game like this. And now we got another Harrison injury. Gee, you hate to see injuries anytime, but especially in a game, where it's practically already over. Your score now: Harrison 39, Plainfield 13, 4:42 to go. The Quakers will end the season. Boy, that 5-0 start seems like a distant memory. But, at the same time, I think the jubilation, in retrospect, the jubilation of the 5-0 start covered up the fact that, there were a lot of, signs of concern in those 5 games. We only beat Perry Meridian by 1. We only beat Harrison by 1. We were down 13-0 to Terre Haute South. We only led Greenwood by 2 in the third quarter. And now another rush over on the gets up to about the 42, so it's going to be about 2nd and 6. That was Ferguson again. I'm surprised that we still have the first unit out for the. I'm surprised we still have the first unit out for the Raiders at this point. They give him credit for 3 on that one. I mean, you got the game won. I mean, why risk an injury when you got to play and you got to be healthy a week from tonight, because Decatur Central, they're going to be a tough opponent. So now 2 receivers to the right. And we got Blake Soldalti out to the left. 12 on the play clock. I shouldn't say shot clock. Basketball is not quite here yet, though it's close. And now Soldalti gets it on a reverse, and he gets up for about 3. So 4:07 to go. So it's going to be 3rd down, 4 minutes to go. Plainfield might or might not get one more possession in this game. If they do, I just want them to finish strong, go out on a positive note. Third and 6. Third and 6 now. If Pop gets set, he gets about 1, so it's going to be 4th down, 3:20 to go. If they get a first down, they might be able to just run out the rest of the clock, or at least close to it. I really want one more possession. I want to finish with I want to go out on a positive note. But sometimes part of part of growing from being a boy to being a man is getting your heart broken. Certainly, you know, we did it last year, first to Harrison, then to Decatur Central. We stuck a dagger in their hearts the way we beat them, especially Decatur Central. And now we're, you know, now the punt under 2.5 minutes to go now. And now now we got a flag here on the punt with 2:26 to go. So Plainfield trailing by 26. Well, you know, it's not very often that I don't know what to say. But this is one of those times. I'll come up with something. Don't worry. But by the way, the sectional championship game will be at Decatur Central next week. So Harrison will be making a long road trip down to Southwest Indianapolis to try to get their third sectional championship in the last 6 years. They also won sectionals under Terry Peebles in 2018 and 2019. Certainly, I'm sure that this win will be dedicated to Harrison seniors of last year, you know, who had an 8-1 regular season and a heartbreaking first round loss to us. And now they're turning the tables on us tonight in a big way. You know, this is when we started this series last year, this home and home series with Harrison. Who would have had any idea that it would turn into such a tense rivalry? What an odd coincidence that we ended up in the same sectional with them. And so we played them twice, 2 years in a row, splitting both years. Both times the team that won in the regular season lost in the tournament. So now they're going to repunt from the the ball backed up to the 35. 2:16 to go. It's a low snap. It's not a very good punt. Bounces at the 36 and then takes a slight Harrison bounce. It's down at the 35. So Plainfield with an even 2 minutes to go. Take over at their own 35. Let's finish off with a score, boys. Especially for the seniors, for Newell, for Vanderbush, for Miller. Also for Marcos Rivera, who, had some good moments this year. He's taken a back seat. He's been lost in the shadow of Newell and Vanderbush and Miller, and also Jameer Bowie, the junior, but he's had some nice moments for us. So now Starnes gets it, and he breaks through, and he gets about 8. So 2nd and 2 for the Quakers at their own 43. 141 to go and counting. Sends 2 receivers out to the left. Starnes in there at running back. Give it to him again. He's got the first down, past the 50, up to the 49. He's brought down, so the clock will stop to move the chains. 124 to go. Plainfield well out of it, trailing by 26, trying to close the season with one more score on a positive note. They've been thoroughly outplayed in this game. They did score on their second and third possessions, but the thing is, because Harrison dominated us so much in rushing tonight, we would have needed to score on just about every possession, and Harrison contained us well enough. They didn't shut us down, but they stopped us from going crazy. So now under a minute, 1st and 10 at the Harrison 49. Starnes gets it. He's got some room. He gets up for about 6 or 7. Going to be 2nd and short, 50 seconds to go now. And we got a late flag here. So let's see what this is all about. The clock stops at 48 as Starnes gets credit for 7 there. So Plainfield started off 5-0. it's a unsportsmanlike conduct against Plainfield, so that dramatically decreases the chance we'll get a score here, moving it back 15 yards. But you got to give Harrison all the credit in the world. They came out with a far superior game plan. They undoubtedly remembered what we did to them in the playoffs last year, what we did to them in the regular season this year, and they came out wanting to get revenge, and they got it, and they earned it. And I wish them luck against Decatur Central next week. I don't know if we're going to continue this series or not. And this is next year's a realignment year. So first of all, I two things I don't know is whether Harrison will be back on our regular season schedule, and then if they will be in our sectional. So I don't know if this rivalry is going to continue or not. But if it was only a 2-year thing, man, what a ride it was! Split 2-2, with split 1-1 in the regular season, 1-1 in the playoffs. This is the only game that wasn't close. The other three were all decided by one possession. So now, a rush there for about 1 yard. It looked like we had a new guy in there. Oh, I think it was Hendry. 3rd and 21. And we don't have to run another play. I don't know if we will, and I hope we will. I want us to go out with a touchdown. But I'm just very sad. So now, Newell rolls right, throws. It is caught. And did we take a timeout? He caught. Yeah, Plainfield with 5.1 seconds left takes a timeout, wanting at least one more play. Miller got the catch, most likely the last of his career, of his very underrated career. Certainly, Isaiah Miller, I'd say one of the most underrated players I've commentated in my 12 years here with the Quakers. Wish him well. Hopefully he'll play collegiately. He's good enough. He was lost in the shadow of Vanderbush, and then last year in the shadow of Grant Irwin and gosh, I'm trying to remember who our other senior wide receiver was last year. But Noah Hessing, who, by the way, is now playing baseball at Indiana University Southeast, my alma mater, while Grant Irwin now playing football at Indiana Wesleyan. So 4th and 10 at the 49, and he's got a rush, and he's got a first down inside the 40, inside the 35, inside the 30, and that'll be it. So your Plainfield Quakers, heartbreaking end to the season. A season that was so promising, so thrilling for a while. They finished losing their last 3 and 4 of their last 5 after that 5-0 start. And most painfully, they end by losing by 26 to a team that we beat by 1 back in week 2. Your final score here tonight up in Tippecanoe Sound. Your final score here tonight here at Tippecanoe County, Harrison 39, Plainfield 13. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to next season after these final words from our sponsors. This broadcast of Plainfield football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors, and we hope you will support them. They are CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Gunnell Financial, Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Midwest Pizza, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design, Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Ellison Associates Remax, Chipotle, and Double D Barbecue. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Tippecanoe County for a final time tonight, and very, very sadly, a final time this season, where your Plainfield Quakers have very painfully ended the 2023 season with a 39-13 loss to the Harrison Raiders. It's a game in which really the tone was set by what happened in the first couple of minutes. Plainfield actually Harrison won the coin toss, deferred to the second half. Plainfield got the ball. Jameer Bowie muffed the opening kickoff. Plainfield started the drive at the 9. They gained 3 yards on, 2 yards on 3 plays. Then Harrison got the ball, scored at will, as Plainfield had no answers for their 4-pronged rushing attack. And that set the tone for the entire game, even though Plainfield did come back to score touchdowns on its next 2 possessions. They never led, and Harrison just kept on pulling away. And as Plainfield got more desperate, all Harrison had to do was just take away the big play. And they just had to take away the big play and keep the Quakers from going crazy. And so it was a well-earned win. And, no excuses. The Raiders were the better team tonight. They deserve this. And hold on just a second. Okay, I promised my son that I would take a picture of the scoreboard tonight. Since he wasn't here, he usually does for his Instagram story on the game. So anyway, I got that done here because sometimes they turn off the scoreboard within a minute or two. Sometimes they keep it up for 15 minutes or more. So anyway, I'm still waiting for the final stat sheet to come in from Jeff Sherman, our stat guy. But in the meantime, it was a game in which, hold on just a second.
I just sent them to you.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. All right. Oh, they haven't arrived yet. Okay. Well,
it's this.
Okay. All right. No problem.
It's being the technological capital of the state of Indiana and not having technical capability.
Yeah, I've had trouble getting connection up here before. Okay, no problem. So anyway, okay, yeah, that's fine. Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay. So it looks like the stat sheet's been lost in cyberspace. So I'm going to take a photograph of it here. So bear with me just a moment. Thanks, really appreciate this. You're right. Thank you. It's great help. Miracle of technology. Thank you. Okay. Well, anyway, I just got the stat sheet now. It was lost in cyberspace. I've had a hard time getting a connection up here before. So anyway, like I said, Plainfield got the ball first, went 3 and out. Then on Plainfield's on Harrison's first possession, they scored with 8:25 to go on a 4-yard rush by Kristen Ferguson. Alex Steen hit the extra point, making it 7-0. Plainfield did strike back hard on their next possession, scoring on a 29-yard touchdown pass from Hunter Newell to Isaiah Miller with 5:39 to go in the quarter. However, the 2-point conversion failed, so Harrison retained the lead 7-6. In the second quarter, Harrison on his next possession scored on a 15-yard pass from Calix Dillon to Carter Canoy. Canoy then got a 2-point conversion, making it 15-6. Thus, the Raiders led by 2 possessions at that point. Plainfield did score on its ensuing possession with 6:40 to go on a 10-yard pass from Hunter Newell to Caden Vanderbush. And Leo Hayob hit the extra point, making it 15-13. But then Harrison, after Alex Steen missed a 39-yard field goal on Harrison's next drive, Plainfield made the controversial decision to go for it on 4th and 1. it failed, and the Raiders took over at the Plainfield 28 and scored on a 29-yard pass from Dillon to Ferguson. Steen was good on the extra point, and at that point, the Raiders had a commanding 30. At that point, the Raiders went back up by 2 possessions. They had a 22-13 lead. And then with 4 seconds left in the quarter, Steen hit a 41-yard field goal, his longest of the season. And so the halftime score was 25-13. Then only 2 scores in the rain-drenched second half, both touchdown rushes by Calix Dillon. He got a 1-yarder on a quarterback sneak with 7:06 to go in the third quarter, and then a 17-yarder with 9:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Steen was good on both extra points, bringing us to our final score of 39-13. Look at the individual statistics. First of all, for Plainfield, Hunter Newell completed 15 of 22 passes for 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. His leading receiver was Caden Vanderbush with 6 receptions for 48 yards and a touchdown, followed by Isaiah Miller with 5 receptions for 57 yards and a touchdown. Jameer Bowie, 2 receptions for 14 yards, and Brandon Hendry 1 for 4. On the ground, Luke Starnes led the way with 13 rushes for 65 yards. Although he was held without a touchdown for only the second time all season, also happened against Whiteland. Nahum Zegaziab, I hope I pronounced that correctly, had 2 for 21. Weston Wayrich 2 for 5, and Alex Solskjaer 1 for 0. Meanwhile, for Harrison, Calix Dillon completed 8 of 9 passes for 96 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Landon Nikoloff completed 2 of 3 passes for 61 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. Carter Canoy had 6 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. Chris Ferguson had 2 for 34 and a touchdown. Jackson Gwynn 1 for 11, and Blake Soldati 1 for 1. On rushing, Ethan Pop had 16 rushes for 113 yards. Chris Ferguson 17 for 73 and a touchdown. Calix Dillon 8 for 68 and 2 touchdowns, and Carter Canoy 5 for 3. So, in conclusion, this was a game in which, quite frankly, we were outplayed. You know, the kids tried hard. We were up against a team that had a superior game plan. They probably saw the way that we failed to contain Braden Shrake against Martinsville, who was practically their whole offense 2 years ago, and they probably figured we couldn't contain their 4-pronged rushing attack of the 3 great running backs and their quarterback, who's also a good rusher. And sure enough, we couldn't. And we didn't do any better at it in the second half than the first. I mean, we made about 2 or 3 good stops the whole game, and they just dominated time of possession. And our offense did some good things, but the thing is, they had such a low margin for error that, if we had done an average job containing their offensive defense, if we had done an average job containing their rushing offense, this might have been, a very tight game here. But we were just in a situation where the offense, was in a no-win situation tonight. So we're, looking ahead to the 2024 season, Plainfield, obviously, we have some heavy losses, and we lose Hunter Newell. Should be going on to, a good college, possibly Division I. He just got his first Division I. I believe he got a Division I offer. I don't remember if it was an offer or some kind of letter of interest or something from Morehead State in Kentucky, alma mater of Phil Sims. And then, of course, we got Caden Vanderbush. Let me finish talking about Hunter Newell. I remember, I first saw him back, playing JV ball early in 2021. Carson Melvin at that time, the freshman, had been thrown into the starting role. Newell had been injured in the preseason, and then he started playing JV ball. They moved up to the varsity game for week 5 against Greenwood. Melvin, who was playing pretty well as a freshman, went down in the first, and then went down in the fourth quarter when we were down by 7. Newell came in, led us to 2 scores, 1 to tie, 1 to win. We got a field goal in the final seconds, and then he started the last 2 years. After finishing out 2021, splitting time about equally with Melvin the last 6 games. He started the last 2 years after Melvin transferred to Westfield, and after a rough start through the first 3 games last year, he really got in motion. He's not a flashy player, but he's a very smart, efficient player. He's good size at 6'2.5", 205. So he's going to be a big college prospect, and he goes down as really one of the best quarterbacks in school history. Also, Caden Vanderbush, another in the long line of great receivers, headed up to play Division 1A ball at Eastern Michigan. After his elder brother, now a redshirt freshman at the University of Iowa. Isaiah Miller should be playing college ball next year. Marcos Rivera had some good good moments. Marcos Rivera had some good moments receiving. We don't lose as much as far as rushing. I mean, we're going to have to. I have no idea who our starting quarterback's going to be next year. There's probably going to be several guys vying for it. Jameer Bowie is going to be our leading receiver. He, had some great games this year. There were, I'd say, 3 or 4 games where he was our number 1 guy, especially in that season opening win against Terre Haute, where we got off to that 13-0 hold and came back strong to score the last 32 points and to win it. He's going to, especially if he has a good quarterback to throw to him, he's going to have a standout senior season. Should be our number 1 receiver. Should be a big college prospect. On rushing, we lose Carter Ferguson, who had some good backup moments here, but we returned our number 1 rusher, Luke Starnes, who unexpectedly emerged as a big star this season. And we returned Weston Wayrich. He should be the number 2 running back next year. He had some good moments backing up this year, backing up Starnes. We do lose Landon Drinnan, one of the best defensive players in school history. But, we do return several guys who, did some good things for us. And then, we got a lot of guys, from JV and freshman ball who are ready to move up the ladder. So, obviously, it's we do lose, a lot of good guys, but we return several important pieces to build around. Certainly, Starnes is going to be, the focal point of the rushing offense next year, with, I assume, Wayrich is the number 1 back, and then the quarterback, obviously, he'll have a good passing balance with Bowie and Starnes. So a lot of good pieces to build around. But I think what we need to do heading into the off season is figure out, what went wrong in the second half of the season. The 2023 Quaker season is the tale of 2 seasons. 5-0 started 5-0, followed by 1-4. And I think what happened is, I think a lot of the teams that we played in the second half of the season, they saw our game tape and they figured out, our strengths and our weaknesses, and they played on our weaknesses, and, it worked. I mean, our rushing defense struggled a lot, and our offense, when we had to play from behind more, we just weren't as effective. And we were put in more situations where we had no margin for error, and where, teams just had to take away the big play. Teams just had to take the big play away from us tonight. And, we did have a new coach, a new head coach, Tyler Bless. He's going to be a great coach. He did, it helped that he was the head coach designate last year in Coach Woodard's farewell season. That made the adjustment a little easier than it would have been otherwise. But, anytime you have a new head coach, it takes a few years for him to completely get his system in place. So that's going to continue. But I think the main thing, I mean, there are going to be things that he's going to tweak. All coaches continue to tweak throughout their careers. But the main thing that, we've just got to do now is figure out, what caused that collapse in the season. And, like I said, I think our slogan for the 2024 season has got to be finish strong, finish strong. I would much rather get off to a slow start and a strong finish like we did last year. We started off 0-3, came back to win 6 of our next 8 to win the sectional before losing the regional, to Whiteland. This year, it's leaving a bad taste in our mouths, finishing, losing 4 of the last 5 after that 5-0 start where we were ranked number 4. Did the kids get overconfident because of the undefeated ranking and number 4 ranking, but because of the 5-0 record and number 4 ranking? Did they get overconfident because of that? Maybe. But I think another thing is that sometimes when you win a lot of close games, you maybe are a little overconfident that a narrow victory is always going to be there for you to grasp, but it isn't. The lesson for that, you've got to put your game away when you have a chance, because you look at these 4 losses, all of them, I can point to 2 or 3 plays where if they were different, the outcome of the game might be different. Like tonight, if we'd gotten a good return and good first possession tonight, and then, if we hadn't done that fake punt that failed, maybe things would have been different. But, obviously, you just got to keep the eye of the tiger, all 48 minutes, all 10 games, or hopefully more games. You're guaranteed 10 games, 9 in the regular season, at least 1 playoff game, and you hope to play 14. That's how many you play if you get to the state championship game. But you have to bring your A game all 48 minutes every night. And, even in their best games this year, the Quakers, they had letdowns. Their best game was in the Franklin game in week 7, but tonight they were just in over their heads. And I think, one thing that I noticed is they kept on, Harrison had great success running the sweep. And, Perry Meridian had good success running in the sweep against us back in week 4. And they did not, Harrison has a better rushing attack than Perry Meridian did. So it's not surprising that they, Harrison, and then of course the fact that we played Harrison and we beat them. So they, they obviously knew, okay, they beat us, let's come up with a different game plan. And obviously they came up with one that worked extremely well. So anyway, disappointing end to the season, not only today, but the last, the 1-4 finish after the 5-0 start. So, but I want you all to please stick with these kids. We're all disappointed now. We're all hurt. That's the way it's supposed to be. When you hurt, hopefully you dig down deep inside and think, how can you come back from this? And hopefully these kids will do that next year. And it's going to be a long off season, but that's not the worst thing that can happen to you. I mean, I remember when I saw Harrison, they were leading us in the 4th quarter last year. Then, they had 3 collapsed plays in the 4th quarter to close out the game. We were down by 7 points, 4th and 18 at our own 39. Then on that play, Hunter Newell threw a touchdown pass to Grant Irwin. Then on Harrison's ensuing drive, they lost a fumble that was returned 51 yards for a touchdown by Harrison Herbeck, like I said, the name being ironic. And then on Harrison's next possession, they lost a fumble and we ran out the clock. And I remember seeing the Harrison assistant coaches walking down, and I could see the anger, knowing that they had squandered the game. So they came out tonight and they really they came out to redeem themselves from that loss. And they came out to slay that demon, and obviously they did. And so now, we know now how they feel a week ago. I mean, it wasn't quite the same thing, as we didn't have the heartbreaking loss in the final seconds, but, certainly a demoralizing loss. So, losing a game, getting your heart broken, it's not the worst thing that can happen for you. I always say, it's a cliche, but it's not a disgrace to get knocked down. The only disgrace is to stay down. So what we have to do is we have to take the good, out of the season, and there was a heck of a lot of it. Believe me, it's easy to forget, but please don't forget that 5-0 start, because it is a preview of what the future can hold for this program. And now we just have to take what went wrong in those 5 games, and then game 7 against Franklin, and then fix what went wrong in the 4 losses in the last 5 games. And if we do that, we're going to bounce back, and maybe next year, with all the younger players, with especially the uncertainty at quarterback, we're going to maybe we won't have as good a regular season, but we could have a better postseason. Of course, a lot depends on what kind of sectional we get put in. And by the way, it should be noted that this was the 9th year in a row that Plainfield drew a road game in the first round of the playoffs. The odds of that happening by coincidence are 1 in 512. So that's part of the bad luck that we've had over the years. But anyway. Right now, I'm just going to give the final word to the seniors. This was an outstanding senior class for Plainfield. As freshmen, they were put through the awful COVID season with all the horrible, awful, ridiculous restrictions that they were put through. And then they went through in 2021, that lost to Cathedral. And then, the quarterback transferring in the offseason. Then last year in 2012, they won only the 2nd sectional championship in school history, with 2 just legendary wins in school history. The one here against Harrison a year ago to borrow, and then the one the next week against Decatur Central on that 19-yard touchdown pass from Hunter Newell to Grant Irwin with 1.3 seconds left. A play that continues to live in glory. And so. And then they came out, and we still had a winning record this year, 6-4. It didn't end the way we wanted, but we did a lot of good, and we set up the beginning of the Tyler Bless era. Tyler Bless took the torch for Brian Woodard, and he's going to make this a great program for a long time. He's a young man in his early 30s, and I think the best days of this program are to come, and we're going to have some deep playoff runs, I believe, in the near future. And that doesn't mean we're going to have a lot of great regular season success, because we do play in the Mid-State Conference, where there are no easy wins anymore, where basically everybody's good now. Even Perry Meridian is starting to get good. So, but I don't mind going 4-5 in the regular season and having a deep tournament run. I mean, Cathedral some years has won the state championship after a losing regular season because their regular season is so tough. So, I want us to play the best we can. I'd rather take a tough loss. I mean, if we lose by 7 and we play our A+ game and we just lose to a better team, I would take that over a 50-point win over a cupcake any day. I'd rather have a game that's going to make us tough for the tournament rather than, load up on cupcakes and then, get knocked out in the first round of the tournament, which happens to some teams. So anyway, right now, I'm just going to mention all the seniors by name. Because they've put thousands of hours of hard work into this program since about 3rd or 4th grade in youth football, and they've stuck with the program through a lot of ups and downs, and they've been with us through a lot of the greatest triumphs in school history. So they are Caden Vanderbush, Isaiah Miller, Nahom Segaziab, Hunter Newell, Carter Ferguson, Landon Drennan, Will Freeman, Marcos Rivera, Jess Clements, Bo Meyer, Elijah Flowers, Aiden Crouch. Let's see here. Connor Smith, Lee Glenn, Bryce Weaver, Seth Martin, Kelvin Ohea, Daniel Quillam, and that's it. So thank you, seniors. We love you. Thanks for everything you did for this program for all these years. And, it's great that you got to be a part of only the 2nd sectional championship in school history. And when this program moves to even greater heights in the future, you will be part of it. And we will remember you, and always be thankful for everything you gave to this program. So now, as we say, a final farewell to the 2023 season. We look back with a lot of great memories, a lot of disappointments too, but overall, we will use the bad memories to get better. These kids are going to work hard in the off season. Coach Bless is going to look at what went right and repeat it, and look at what went wrong and fix it. And we're going to come back swinging hard next year. we broke Harrison's and Decatur Central's hearts last year in the sectional. Now they're playing against each other for the sectional championship next year. So they didn't get down. They got mad. They got even. And, now it's our turn to do that. So, so once again, your final score here tonight in Tippecanoe County, Harrison 39, Plainfield 13. The Raiders get their 8th consecutive win and move on to the sectional championship game next week at Decatur Central in Southwest Indianapolis, while Plainfield ends the season, the first season of the Tyler Bless era, at 6-4. Well, this concludes your broadcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again next August 23rd as your Plainfield Quakers host the Terre Haute South Braves as we start the 2024 Indiana high school football season. Until then, for audiosportsonline.com, this is Lex Zorn saying, have a great off season, and remember, there is a difference only you can make. Yeah. Season.